Right, good day and welcome to your past exam paper compilation and interpretation. In the segment we're looking at analytical geometry. Now for November exam, they normally question 3 and 4, but for your June exam, they'll be question 1 and 2. So there they've given us coordinates, given us a diagram. Generally when you see this diagram, you should know we're testing on midpoint. It's one big triangle and it's cut in half. So that those two sides are equal, and if those two sides are equal with two parallel lines, then effectively are testing midpoint theorem, which we can state in that AN and NC are the same length and MN is half the length of BC. Alright, so general questions: determine the coordinates of M, midpoint. So you must know how to find midpoint for analytical geometry or coordinate geometry. Gradient of the line MN. So you want the gradient of that line MN. And so otherwise determine the equation of line MN. So the gradient, now we have to find the C value of MN and then put it in, or y-intercept of MN. Find the equation. Then calculate with reasons the coordinates of point N. So we have to find what's the coordinates of here, N. Alright. And then if ABC in that order is a parallelogram, so let's see, there's A, B, C, T. So T is another point that we will have to construct. Determine the coordinates of point T. So we have to get the coordinates point T in such a way that this forms a parallelogram, meaning it has two pairs of opposite sides parallel and two pairs of sides equal, or the diagonals bisected, etc. So you have to study your properties of your quads to answer analytical geometry. Here we've given midpoint theorem. We can use any of the rhombus, square, kites, etc. to test you. Alright, so make sure you go get a list of your properties and work through it. There is a lesson done for you on YEP that you can go through if you are stuck. Alright, so I said we generally have two questions. Second question, in diagram R and A are x-intercepts of a straight line. AR, the equation of AR, so they've given us one equation. They've given us another point 0 and 2, and they pass through points M and N, which are given, and then they give us angles of inclination. So grade 11, we must be able to work with angle of inclination to get gradient, or use gradient to get angle of inclination. So number 1 there, given that M, P, and N are collinear points, calculate the value of K. So there you see there's K. Collinear point simply means that NP and MP must have the same gradient for them to be collinear. So you first find the gradient of NP, then you use that gradient to solve the x value of M. Alright. 2, determine the size of theta, the obtuse angle between the two lines. So there, if we take careful, they have theta. So that means I will have to work with gradient, get angle of inclination, gradient angle of inclination, exterior angle of a triangle equal the sum of the two opposite interior angles, grade 9 geometry. So we can find this gradient using angle of inclination. Using gradient there, I can find the size of that angle, and then I should know this angle here equals that angle minus that one. Alright, and then we want the area of triangle MN. R, so we want area M. Let's see, where's N, there's R. So we have to work out perpendicular height and base. But before we can do that, you see they say calculate the length of MR. So R, no coordinates are given, but you see that they've given me equation for AR. So I'm going to use the equation of AR to calculate the value of R, or the X and Y-intercept. X-intercept, Y is 0, Y-intercept, X is 0, and then I'm going to use distance formula to find the length, to get the base and then perpendicular height. Alright, so you follow? So for analytical geometry, very important: midpoint, gradients, how to use the gradients, show lines are parallel, perpendicular, how to use the coordinates to find the midpoint, how to use midpoint to find unknown coordinates. Right? All these things will be done for you on the website. All the best. Continue working. As I said, as we work through and we start marking these problems, everything will become clearer, guaranteed. You just continue working hard and continue picturing yourself as being extremely successful. God will reward your consistent work. God bless, all the best.